Grandmaster started last week, and I missed out on Lightblade, but I am not going to miss out on Fallen SABER. Fallen SABER is the easiest Grandmaster we have this season, and it's quick, meaning we can get some very, very quick times and some very easy farming. Whether that be materials like Ascendant Shards, or you're just trying to get the weapon of the week, and the week that I am making this is going to be the Loaded Question Fusion Rifle, which is okay. It's got some pretty decent rolls for PvE, not so much for PvP, as it is a high-impact fusion rifle, and those tend to suffer because of their long charge time. However, again, it might be pretty decent to run in PvE, as it does roll with controlled burst. But with that, like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you see it down there, there is now a join button, as we are now a YouTube partner, as I mentioned in yesterday's thank you video. So please consider doing all that. It helps me out a ton. And let's have a quick word from our sponsor. With Fallen SABER, we spawn about 10 million miles away from where the Warat spawns, so we're going to hop on our sparrows and head on over without getting sniped by a million different Fallen. Once we are in this area, be careful, as when the Warat falls, you can just die if you're too close, and your fire team is gonna laugh at you. So sit back a little bit until it falls, and here's something cool. If you have the correct emotes, I don't remember which ones they are, but if you do it, you can scan the Warat and then pop the emote, sit inside the Warat until it's completed, and then all the ads except for the champions will despawn, and you can move on from there. However, if you are like me and didn't remember to do that, I'm going to tell you how to do this part pretty quickly, pretty easily, and effectively, where no one has to die. What you're first going to do is, when the first little fallen ship comes in, shoot off the turrets, as that's going to save you a lot of a headache, and then just start dealing with the ads. Eventually an overload champion is going to spawn. Deal with him. Once the Warat gets to about 35%, I believe it is, you're going to turn around, 2 more ships are going to spawn, take care of those turrets, deal with the ads, and set on the Warat until a barrier champion spawns, and then whatever percentage it is, I think it's like 70%, and 1 more ship is going to spawn, turn around, deal with the turrets, and then deal with the overload champion that spawns. Once the Warat gets to 100%, we can then move inside the bunker. Inside the bunker, this is where we deal with all the shanks and the overload champions and the barrier champions. Once you walk in through this door, hang a hard left and go into that little hallway where some of the ads will spawn out of. Now again, like I just said, ads are going to spawn out of this little hallway, so just be careful, be mindful. I used Arc Warlock with this, so my Arc Souls would take care of them as they spawned out of that door. Made it very, very easy, but we're going to hide in this hallway, as it gives us some very good cover from the overload champions and the barrier champion. What me and my team tried to do was take care of the barrier champion, force that second overload to spawn, and then deal with the overloads without the barrier, because the barrier can then puppy guard and protect those overload champions, making them a much bigger hassle. Once everything in this room has been cleared, leave this little hallway, collect your ammo, and get ready for round 2. You're going to walk up to the fuse, open it, shoot it, break the fuse, and head back into that hallway. Now again, ads are going to spawn out of that little door to your left or right, depending on which way you walked in. Take care of them, and then start picking away at the enemies outside. There are 2 overload champions here, so take care of them, watch out for the exploding shanks, and we can move on into the Arc Conductor room, where a lot of the time someone on your team is probably going to die, but it doesn't have to be that way. What you're going to first start by doing is taking care of the 2 sniper shanks at the end of the hallway, and then send your most confident, or the person that you want to die, honestly, just going to go laugh at, down to the end of the hallway, pick up the arc charge, and have them begin walking it back down while avoiding the arc currents that are coming down the hallway. While this is happening, you and your other ally at the end of the hallway are just going to take care of the shanks that spawn. They're normal shanks. There's an exploder shank or 2. Just take care of them. Have your friendly deposit the arc charge, and we can move up the hallway into this big open room where there is a bunch of ads and a bunch of champions. When you first open the door, there's going to be a few fallen here. Just take care of them so you have a nice little place to sit. Push in and start dealing with all the other ads. There's going to be an overload champion at the end of this room. Take care of him as a team. A barrier champion is going to spawn. Again, take care of that, because then after that, 2 more overload champions are going to spawn, and the barrier champion can again make it a pain in the ass to deal with overload champions. Once all the champions and the ads have been cleared out of this room, the door is going to open, and we can move into the next little like server room, I guess is what we're going to call it, because it's all the server stacks. Anyways, barrier champion first, deal with the barrier champion, and then 3 overload champions are going to wait you before the boss room. Overload champions are pretty easy to deal with if you have Arc or Strand. Luckily on my team we had both, so again, very easy to deal with these champions. Move on into the boss room, slide down the wall, don't hit Mock Jesus and die and put your teammates in a very bad position. Deal with the 2 servitors that spawn out of the holes in the walls, and then the boss encounter is going to start. You're just going to deal with him, damage him down to that first little section. He's going to then teleport to the back of the room, get a nice little protective shield, and a barrier champion is going to spawn. You're going to want to deal with the shanks here first because they will snipe you. There's exploding shanks, sniper shanks, regular shanks, shanks of all flavors. Deal with all the shanks, then deal with the barrier champion. Once the barrier champion has been dealt with, you can then deal with the boss, get him down to half health, and repeat that same process of dealing with the shanks, dealing with the barrier champion, and then once the barrier champion has been dealt with, you leave the boss to its final stand, which then you just deal it from half to a quarter. Once he hits that quarter, he's going to then freak out, travel around the room, trying to shock you with his shocky things that he has in the front now. Be careful of this because it will one-shot you. Burn your supers, burn your heavy, watch all that glorious loot fall on the right hand side of your screen. This is going to be the last Saber guide I make unless they make significant changes to it, as again, Nightfalls usually don't change unless they take them out of the game like they did with Exodus, Crash, and Inverted Spire. So again, you're going to see guides on those when they come out next season, but for Fallen Saber, this is it. This is the last one I'm going to do. All the Grandmasters that come out this season, this is going to be their final guide, and I'm just going to change their thumbnail, change their titles, and go from there because again, it's just like beating a dead horse. But with all that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and consider hitting that fancy new join button down below if you so wish for those exclusive member perks, emotes, and badges, and I'll see you guys in the next video.